to be Maggie Walker alum?
Again, like, it's hard because it's, like, senior year was probably, like, the worst year of my life.
Oh, are you serious? Wait, I thought junior year was, like...
Like, yeah, junior year, I think, is, like, supposed to be, like, super crazy, rigorous-wise.
Yeah.
Like, there's always just so much tension. But I think senior year, because of just circumstances,
that's fair.
was, like, really difficult for me. Just, like, stuff was going on at school, stuff was going on at home, so it was just crazy. And so, like, Maggie Walker is this place that I love and I adore so much, but now I've just, like, I'm kind of, like, I'm glad to be done. And I feel like, you know, like, no one thinks high school is their peak. And, like, again, like, if you think that, then I'm sorry.
Well, like,
but, like, that's not it. And so, like, you're happy that, like, you have your people and you've grown, you've learned lessons, and, like, you know, like, you can come back to the school if you need to. But I think, like, all in all, like, me, but then also just the class of 2025 is, like, we're happy that we're done.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I'm definitely very grateful, and, like, it's exciting to, like, you know, go to college and get ready for the next chapter. But
honestly, that's been, like, the consensus with all my friends, too. Like, nobody's like, oh, I'm gonna miss, like, Maggie Walker. But, like, I don't know why, but this summer it's just been hitting me that, like, I only have a year left. So it's, like, it was this with you, like, end of junior year, too. But, like, it's just, like, now I'm, like, I feel like every moment needs to count now, like, senior year, you know what I'm talking about?
But at the same time, like, don't stress yourself out like that, because... I mean, you have much, like, better leadership than we did.
Wait, I don't know if that's true. Class of 2025 was low-key peak.
I don't know about that. But, like, our senior sunset, well, we didn't have senior sunset.
Oh, really?
Our senior sunrise was cloudy, and, like, we were supposed to get stuff, but then they didn't show up with, like, donuts and coffee until, like, an hour later.
Bro.
And so it was just, like, very mid-event. So, like... It's gonna, and especially because, like, we are a very different school, like, in comparison to, like, all the county schools. Like, you're gonna see them on Instagram, like, they're doing all these cute traditions. Like, we're not built like that.
Yeah. Okay, that's
But at the same time, like, we have things that, like, make us, like, stand out and, like, our own things. So, like, it's gonna, like, don't try to make, like, the most aesthetic moment or most, like...
Well, not even most aesthetic. I mean, like, making it count.
Yeah.
Like...
Or, like, you want it to be, like, oh, this is it. Like, this is going in the memory books. But, like, sometimes, like, it's not all positive. Yeah, and, like, it doesn't have to be.
Right.
And I think it makes the things that are positive, like, just better.
But, so, it's, again, like, it's not even, like, most, like, memorable for me. Like, I feel like I tried doing that coming into freshman year. Because I was, like, because my brother went through Maggie Walker.
Right.
So, it was just, like, oh, I know Maggie Walker's a cool school. I want to make every moment count. And that's what I was doing freshman year. I was, like, time went by so slow because you had so many new activities, like still getting acclimated to Maggie Walker. But what I realized junior year was, like, making every moment count for me, at least, isn't, like, making it the most memorable. It's, like, not wasting it. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
like,
no, that makes...
Like, it doesn't have to be good or bad, but it just, like, experience it and, like, don't think of other things while going through this.
You know what I'm saying? Would just, like, being present. Yeah. Like, that's the most important thing. But at the same time, like, for us, like, senioritis hit so hard. I think that, like, we were not doing that. We get home, go to sleep for 5 hours, and, like, go play pickleball or go to crumble or, like, do something like that. So, like, I feel like that was the mindset. But I think at the same time, like, you know, with our senior sunrise and then just, like, with the way things were going, like, we didn't hit it off to, like, such a great start where we could feel present. Yeah. But at the same time, like, again, like, doing things like We the People and, like, things like that, like, you're able to really...
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's, like, such a good mindset, though, to go into school with instead of just being like, oh, I'm done with this place. I just want to bleed time because then it's a waste of time for yourself. But then also I feel like when you look back and, like, you're, like, I don't know, like, 50 and you, like, want to reminisce of, like, cool high school memories, like, that just me kind of lame.
Do you have, like, a memory box or something?
I do. Oh my gosh, you have to. So we did the senior boxes with a bunch of my friends, and I don't think a lot of other people, like, filled them up, but mine's full.
Oh, really?
And it's, like, it has everything. I, like, you know, medals from things. I, like, trinkets, letters from people.
Aww.
Just, like, pressed flowers.
Bro,
like
after graduation, if I read the letters, I think I would cry. Like that. Just like, did you read it?
I went through them, and it was definitely like really emotional. You know Crash Acrely?
Yeah. I love Crash.
He wrote me.
I actually don't know Crash at all. I don't know why I said, but
he's such a cool guy.
Yeah, he's like such a cool guy.
He wrote me a letter, kind of like the year, like going into junior year or whatever, and so like just like reading that, like just from such an awesome person, and just like. Because I that was him going on to his next chapter, and, like, now it's, like, my turn or whatever. So, like, definitely make one. Definitely, like, do it with all your friends. Yeah. Like, don't forget about it. Because I feel like...
It's worth it at the end.
It's so worth it.
Where does he Crash at now?
Yale.
Isn't he on the swim team?
Yeah.
Oh, my God, that's cool.
It's crazy.
Wait, he's the one that, like, got into Harvard and then crossed over and went to
Yale. Like, he was committed to Harvard for a second, but then there was something there, so then recommitted to Yale. Which, like, you know, like...
Yeah, it happens, but, like, that's such a
like,
tough situation.
No. Yeah, I'm sure he's going to be great.
For me, going to graduation was, like, the epitome of, like, oh, it's, like, it's done.
Like, those are, like, you know, I feel like when I was a freshman, I went to graduation, I was like, oh, like, those were...
You went to graduation freshman?
I went all year.
Are you serious?
Yeah, and, like, you know, like, going, and it's like, oh, those are the seniors. And then, like, it, like, going up, and then it's like, I know these people. They're not that cool.
Yeah. Well, okay, for you, why didn't, like, my biggest question was, like, why didn't SEA speak at graduation? Because I feel like that's such a big part.
So we were actually, like, I mean, it's, like, it would be cool to speak graduation. So, like, we asked, but I think... There was also, like, time constraints. We had graduation at a new place this year.
Yeah, Dominion.
So there was constraints on size, which is why, like, Deadbeats, there was a group of, like, maybe 10 people that, like, had a song prepared, but we ended up, like, we wouldn't fit on that stage to sing. So we sang at senior night, like, senior recognition night. And so I think part of that, but then also, what is it? Like... It was mainly a tradition for only the class presidents to speak.
Okay.
But I do have, like, thoughts about that because it was kind of frustrating because, like, a lot of things that they were saying, it was like, well, actually, I did that.
Yeah. I mean, like, class prank, like, all of that stuff was you guys, right? SEA?
Not really. That stuff was more them, but it was just more of, like, the Dr. Lowry and Mr. Austin stuff and, like, just, like, a lot of the, like, for, like, spirit weeks and, like, pep rallies, it was more of, like, SEA doing, like, the nudging and stuff.
Was that a big thing with SEA? Because Dr. Lowry passed away and he was a big part of it.
He was our interim sponsor because Miss Ortiz, who's, like,
and
the
she's
sponsor
on
now.
pregnancy.
Yeah, she had maternity leave, and so Dr. Lowry, like, he would sit in on our meetings, and we got, like, really close this year. I feel like, as a student... I mean, I, like, obviously, like, I knew who he was, and, like, I had to talk to him for a few things, but, like, this was really it. Like, we were getting close, like, talking about all these random things.
Right.
But then he basically, I mean, because he's, like, he was director of the school, and he was, like, taking care of all these other things, he, like, had that kind of, like, trust in me, where I honestly, like, was doing whatever. Like, I didn't really, like, as long as, like, I kept him in the loop.
Right.
Or whatever, and, like, that was just... you know, really, like, interesting to see, like, how much I could really do with the power that, like, the school had given me.
Yeah.
And he was really great because I dealt with some not-so-nice teachers and, like, that had to, like, give me permission to do, like, or were not giving me permission for no reason, and they just were trying to make life hard.
Yeah.
But, like, you know, because he's, like, literally, he was, like, the highest figure in the school, like, he was really, like, able to advocate for us and stuff, and, like, he really believed in what we were trying to do, so, like, losing him was a great loss. I think just, like, in general you could feel that, but then also, like, I think SEA, like, that was one of the reasons, like, we were hard at work to, like, you know, figure out, like, how to, like, you know, remember him and respect him properly, but then also, like, just kind of losing someone that, you know, had the students back for so long.
Right.
And we didn't really have a figure in administration after that, which was really painful.
Right.
Because it's like you can't really carry on his legacy if they're not letting you, but they didn't. I don't know. There was just a lot of bureaucracy and things involved. But definitely, like, as a mentor and, like, a teacher figure, losing him was great. like enormous, but like I think it just like had a ripple effect through the whole school.
So is that like a focus for the SEA? Like, is that a lot of the events that you guys did and stuff? Because honestly, for me, like splitting up class and SEA is pretty. Like, what's the difference?
Yeah. No, that's a great question. Mm-hmm. So basically, we do meetings with all of the class presidents. Okay. And especially with the freshman class, we're very like involved, making sure they know what they're doing. We had meetings with like the president and the sponsor, Mr. Coleman, all the time. Just like, you know, coming into Mackie Walker, totally new experience, and it's only getting newer and newer. I think with like the whole Dragon Advisory program, and I think also trying to offer that support that, you know, other people didn't have, to build that foundation. And then, you know, we took on like Spirit Weeks and pep rallies and things like that. So like all the messages they were sending out were from us. And then like on top of that, it was like initiatives to like, what can we do better? Putting out like, we did a lot of, I think, teacher communication and stuff like this year. Initiatives to like see like, you know, what we can improve there, because a lot of teachers like haven't been happy in the past with how SCA operated. There's a lot
regarding what,
like communication stuff. I feel like what teachers value and what students value are very different. Yeah, and for sure, it was a lot of like scheduling, like with pep rallies and stuff. And
I've heard that.
Yeah, so like that was kind of like, you can't cancel a pep rally, or you know, I had people like, I was emailing people for permission for Spirit Weeks and they told me it wasn't necessary. And it's like, it's one of the, so like that's another issue with SCA is a lot of the work we do is behind the scenes. Like you can't run for it if you want credit. Like you again, like people are putting their names on your work and like you have to be okay with that. And like I feel like I was to a certain extent, but then it's also like you want whatever is visible to like be very prominent. Like you want the pep rallies to be good, and you want this, again, Spirit Weeks, like we had a ton of ideas, but then admin approval and like they docked off like the most random things, which is like, you know, they have reasons for everything. One thing I would say is a very popular one was like freshmen dress as babies, seniors as like old people. The life cycle thing.
But they didn't want that?
Ageism or something.
What?
So it was just like a lot of fun things we didn't like get to do. But like you want that to be very out there, because that's one of the few things the student body knows that you're doing. Yeah. On top
I feel
of
like
that,
Mackie Walker's a little too sensitive.
That's what I'm saying. Like, is like
ageism? Are you kidding
I don't
me?
think anyone would be offended
That's
by that.
Not. How would that be offensive at all?
And, like, one I really liked was that teachers dressed up as students and students dressed up as teachers. Because there's some teachers at our school that, like, have very iconic outfits. Right. And then I feel like the teachers would have a lot of fun with, like, dressing up as students. I feel like that's something we've also seen online a little bit. And, like, it worked out. Like, it was funny. And it's just one day. Yeah. But, you know, like,
what was, like, the reasoning for that?
Just didn't like it. Like one of the administration was like, could be better. I don't think this is unique enough. But then was like, let's do Jersey Day. Like,
bro,
I'm sorry.
What?
So that's, like, again, like, it's very behind the scenes, very, like, subject to, like, other people's scrutiny. Which is, like, hard because you want to be there for the students. Like, that's your number one objective, but then you can only do so much. Right. Like, with Dr. Lowry, I feel like we peaked that first semester. We did really well that first semester, or, like, we were getting there. We did, you know, more behind-the-scenes work than usual, but I feel like that pep rally and field day, like, was pretty solid. Yeah. Because, you know, Dr. Lowry was, like, more flexible and more willing to listen to us. Yeah. And I think administration was more trying to see, like, what would be better for them instead.
I mean, like, why would they want it to be better for, like, I mean, like, scheduling-wise?
Scheduling-wise, so one of the, again, a lot of people were like, why is the spring pep rally so early this year? Oh, yeah. Because we had it before spring break, which I also didn't think was optimal, because if you have it before then going into a holiday, like, it comes with some, like, oh my gosh, we're done, this is so fun, it's a party, but then it also incentivizes students to skip. Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people weren't even there.
Right, and you want to, like, the whole point is about uplifting student spirit, and that was because, like, you can't have any events in April.
Yeah.
And I was, like, on the board for a lot of other events. And so something that was also happening was scheduling for, like, multicultural assembly. And they were like, you need to move this to January or whatever. But January is when we start advertising about it. And then if you start advertising about it in the first semester, then, you know, like, especially, like, freshmen, or honestly, I would say until your junior year, people don't really feel like they have a place at Maggie Walker.
I agree
sometimes, like, still working out friend groups.
I think friend groups is the biggest thing. Like, if you don't find a clique in the first little bit, it's hard to, like...
And, like, the first bit, like, cliques, like, when you're going to, like, are based on sports.
Yeah.
Or, like, who knew each other before. And that's so boring. And, like, that's not representative of, like, who you could be friends with, I think. And so, like, that would make signing up for acts more difficult for the student body. And then another suggestion was, let's do it in February. But that's Black History Month, and this is Multicultural Assembly. Yeah. And it's not even a given that STEP team would perform again. So it's also very much like, how would you balance that? You can't have the Multicultural Assembly revolve around Black culture.
Right.
That would be too, like, half and half. Like, you would want then, like, a proper Black kind of culture-focused assembly. Right. And then a multicultural assembly. Because it feels like you're putting your feet in, like, two different things, and neither is going to be 100%, and honestly disrespectful to both ends. And so, like, things like that, like, I feel like we're thinking about fully, but they're not thinking about fully, and it, like, causes a little bit of strife, and you don't really know what to do.
I mean, are these things that you're vocalizing to them?
Yeah.
But it's
for
just,
sure.
Like,
It's, I do get it. Like, there's 700 things that, like, happening. We just got a new well, not me, I don't go there anymore, but just got a new director. So I think that, you know, that's just, like, how it goes. But then, again, it's definitely, like, very, like, interesting to see from the back end of things when you're, like, trying to put on, you know, all these events and stuff. But yeah, I feel like, again, SEA very more, like, behind the scenes kind of helping out each of the classes, and then doing whole activities. Like, we coordinated all of the Mr. Austin events that you saw in the library and everything, and then same thing with Dr. Lowry. Except I think the school, unfortunately, like, knew how to handle it by the time that Dr. Lowry passed away, because we went through with Mr. Austin. So we still got to be hands-on, but I think they were able to take care of it better. And because because Mr. Austin was a teacher, and then Dr. Lowry, he had been sick for a while, so he had to kind of stay in his office more, so he wasn't able to interact with the kids. So I think that his loss was more impactful to the teachers. And so, like, that was kind of the area of focus and stuff.
So when you're running for SEA, did you kind of know this beforehand? Or, like, were you involved in SEA at all before?
I was not. I wasn't, I ran for a bunch of different positions in, class and SEA, but, this was, like, my first time actually being elected, so I didn't really have, like, experience doing the exact thing, but, like, I knew all of the players in the game. I, like, was really good friends.
Players, like, people?
So, like, I knew, like, Dr. Smith really well. I had a great relationship with him. Dr. Larry, like, we knew each other. I, like, knew Miss Harger, who was, like, you know, becoming very, like, we were
involved in SEA?
Yeah. Involved in not just, like, in SEA, but, like, in the school as a whole. Like, we were doing, like, the Diwali and Holi celebrations, and I really got to use, like, not the SEA power, but those abilities to kind of, like, promote events like that and, like, work on those. So I didn't, like, and I was really good friends with the previous co-presidents, Milan and Rayhan, but obviously, like, we had crazy circumstances this year. But I, like, knowing, like, and you only know so much. Like, you know that the SEA does the announcements. And you know that they, like, help out with Spirit Weeks and Pep Rally, but, like, you don't know about, like, who you have to talk to, all the other random things. We redid the SEA Constitution this year.
Oh, really?
And that was, like, a whole thing,
you know. What changed?
Everything. Because this was, like, 2001 maybe, like early 2000s. Everything was, like, paper ballots and, like, so, you know, as the times change, you have to change. So we changed a lot of the pronoun stuff. It was all like he.
Yeah.
And I was like she. And then we did a lot of like, what would happen in the case that when you're running for office and someone's spreading rumors or like mal-canvassing, because I experienced I didn't directly experience that, but my co-candidate experienced that when I was as SCA president. I also run the SCA and class elections, and so I had some incidents there, and that the Constitution doesn't tell you what to do. So we have to like add a bunch of those things. We changed how elections like running would work. The role of historian wasn't in the Constitution at all, so we needed to add that, clear up the responsibilities, what's allowed, what's not. So it was not like a mess, but it was just, it hadn't been updated in 20 years. Yeah. And so like obviously things had changed.
My thing is like in real life elections, there's gonna be rumors too. Like you know what I'm saying? So I feel like school elections are just too sensitive. Like they're not, or like maybe not too sensitive, but they don't accurately represent elections outside. Like, okay, this is like a really dumb idea, or like not dumb, but like probably not the best idea. But me, Des, a few others, like we were all gonna run as like a party. So like if one of us gets in office, then like we canvass for the other and like stuff like that, right? But then obviously that was shot down. But like I feel like that's a more accurate representation of an election. And like if that's the goal of an election, or like a school election, to like kind of give or like, I guess it's not the point. The point is representation, but that's such a good way to like teach kids, and like making reform is just making it too sensitive, I think.
Right. I think the reform was more of like when you had like, okay, we had someone like spread Nazi rumors about another candidate. Like that stuff is serious.
Yeah, that's
so
a little.
That was more like what this was centered to, especially because it wasn't like, oh, we have no idea who said that, but it's going around. We knew who said that. Okay. So that was more of like what approach we can take there. No, but I do understand like that. We have like. So
wait. Did people call your co-candidate a Nazi?
No.
Okay.
No. This was this year when I was running the election. So I like had to sit in with student interviews, like figure out what was happening. No, they called him some other things though.
Oh my god.
But yeah, gosh, he's Jewish. Oh my god.
Oh my god.
That would have been crazy. And he's Indian. Like, so I don't even.
Wait.
Cubby's Jewish and he's
Are you serious? Wait, I didn't know Cubby's Jewish.
He's half white.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Oh
my
yeah.
God. Okay.
But like I completely get what you're saying. It was also just like, I think one of the reasons was like you can run with a vice president, president, or co-president, but it was also to make sure like you don't have like one whole popular friend group kind of solidified. But I do understand, especially because we are a school for government international studies.
But that's what happens anyway. Like the most popular people win.
I know.
Like
so we are the school for government international studies. Personally, what I do like in our system is that it's very easy to see who's trying for the campaign and who's not. Yeah. Because of like Instagram posts and things like that. But that's also like, I just think that the system's never going to be perfect. Yeah. Because like, what if someone doesn't have access to social media like other people? Like as a voter, but also as someone who's running for office, like that can be detrimental. But I think like, as we progress, but at the same time, like I do understand what you're saying. I feel like that would make it, more realistic. Yeah. But, like, we are going to see a bunch of changes this year, though, because we put in a new program, which is the SCA representatives. So it allows, we're actually going to have, like, different boards of things, like, to simulate more of, like, how, like, in government there's committees. So it's going to simulate things more like that. Okay. So, like, the government part, the elected positions will simulate more of, like, a realistic form of government. But we don't really have, like, I feel like with running for a position or something, we haven't really, like, done too much with that just yet.
Wait, so who would be on these boards?
So that's, at the beginning of the year, we sent out an application if you want to be an SCA rep. Oh, okay. And so people applied.
Okay.
And then we like did a few meetings. Again, it was a little difficult balancing it because had to get approval from 1,000 different people for everything.
Right.
Which is like that's how it goes in real life too.
Yeah.
But like that was a program we were able to like kind of start, and then once we do that, they'll be able to like maybe like rank choice voting for what committee they want to be on.
Okay.
And then like we would sort them into committees. They'd work on that and stuff. Just so that way, like student council association is like more of a council and not just like 5 people kind of, because it's usually condensed of seniors.
Right.
And so, like, that's obviously not representative of everyone. And, like, you can only do, like, only so many people are responding to surveys that we post on Schoology.
But arguably that's more accurate. Or maybe not more accurate, but it has some validity because I feel like seniors go through the years, too.
Right.
So it's not biased towards freshmen, sophomores, or juniors, but now it's, like, you have the viewpoint of somebody that's been through all the years, you know?
That is completely true. But at the same time, like, we changed our admissions policy.
Oh.
So the makeup of people coming into the school now is a little different. And so...
I mean, drastically? Like...
Honestly, like, the freshmen this year, like...
Oh, really?
Different breed. So...
I think that's just because, like, COVID babies. And, like...
No, I would think so, too. But it was also just, like... we would be reaching out and stuff, but like you can always like have more voices, but it also like it wouldn't be like what they say goes, like it would come up to like that.
Wait, what I did hear about the freshman admissions, or maybe it was this year or next year, but less private school kids.
Yeah, that's already happened.
But that's like insane. It's not now. It's not just based on how smart you are, but it's based on what school you went to.
Right.
And it's like,
and I honestly like obviously like. People are applying because they want the opportunity. Right. And I feel like you can't, like, I have a friend and her sister's really smart. Like, she is from Richmond, and the only reason she goes to private school is because one of her parents teaches there. And, like, arguably, if I was a parent, I would want my kid to not go to, like, not the best Richmond public school and go to this private school when they can go for, like, reduced admission or whatever.
Right.
But, like, when you have the opportunity to go to a fantastic public school and like they're against it, like for that, like even if I wasn't a teacher there, like I just feel like that's not fair, because I feel like this can get into politics and stuff, but like you do want like this best and brightest at your school too, but you also want to provide other people with the opportunity. And so I think the admission system has really been going back and forth in that. So
I mean,
as of
Maggie Walker isn't even like a what do you call it? A federally funded. It's a federally funded program. Or no, not even a federally funded. It's just a program.
Yeah, it's just a program, and then the counties are the ones that are giving it the funding.
So why does it matter? Like why?
That's what I'm saying too. I just feel like it is giving the opportunity to other people. Yeah. But like you have to realize it's taking away the opportunity from people that like don't really deserve it.
Yeah.
And, like, we've also opened up the seats by so much.
Yeah.
That's why, like, I wanted so bad to have some pep rallies in the gym, and we had to have them outside. Yeah. But we don't fit in the gym anymore. It's a fire hazard. Yeah. So, it's, like, it's crazy. And then we're having cheating scandals all the time.
That's just insane. Like, I was talking to my brother about this because he went through Maggie Walker, like, 6 years ago.
And that's, like, when it was good. Like,
exactly. Like, some things I'll tell him, and he's like, wow, nobody would ever even think of doing that. Yeah. And part of that's, like, social media, ChatGPT and stuff, but it's also, like, the standard kind of just went down over the years with... Okay, I'm not attributing this entirely to inclusivity, but, like, a little bit. Like, that's the main argument against these DEI programs, because now you're not upholding some standards, I feel like.
Yeah. I think it's also not even that, just the quality and the rigor of the program has decreased so much. Like,
you think so?
Yeah, I've, like, been here. Like, I've talked to other people, and, like, Maggie Walker, like, we talk about how we get work, but, like, they used to get, like, work. Like, curriculum was, I think, more intense. The offering of classes was also much different. But
I feel like it got wider. Like, Mr. Yu was talking about, like, all these new classes that he's bringing in. Yeah. So I feel like it's just gotten, like cooler classes.
Well, I completely agree with that. But I just, like, when you don't have such a wide kind of, like, curriculum, you can go deeper in that already set curriculum, and it creates a system where things aren't changing and you know exactly how it works.
And if teachers like teach the same thing over and over again, they get a better understanding of how these students learn too.
Exactly. And it also, like, you know, again, students like don't come in disciplined, or I think ChatGPT is a huge one. Like, people like get away with everything. And it's like a problem. Like, I'm not obvious, like, I feel like everyone's used it, like, I've used it, but like, I feel like you shouldn't be using it for purposefully like going against integrity. Like, I think it's you know, not everyone has the best teachers. For me, you know, after the passing of Mr. Austin, that was my physics teacher. And just like trying to figure things out, but like, you know, writing whole essays, and like then the teachers are also getting discouraged. So I think that the quality of the program, and then also with the students, like, not being held to the same standard, or almost like fighting against the rigor that like they're being asked for. If that
My thing is, what's the solution to like the ChatGPT problem? Right. Because I feel like that's a system of just failures, you know?
Yeah. Or so what this school's doing now is freshmen, they get computers. And I'm assuming that they don't have like access to ChatGPT on them.
But like, there's so many ways to bypass that. Like, if stuff is blocked on the Wi-Fi network, because and like personal hotspots, like there's so many ways to get around that.
One thing that might deter that is that no cell phone use anymore in school.
Oh my God, I forgot about that.
But then it is also just like, you can't. There's no solution. There is no world where we're going to live without ChatGPT or generative AI services. So then it becomes a question, how can you use them to supplement the curriculum? And that's kind of up to the teachers and things like that, because like cheating has always existed. So it's just become easier.
But I think it starts with the teachers, or like,
I would agree.
Curriculum in general. Because Mr. Yu brought up a really good point in class. He was like, teachers are almost competing with other teachers for the students to value their work. So like, if I grade harder, then the students will give my assignments more effort, and they'll score, or they'll perform better on my AP exams, you know? So I feel like that whole system of, that's why I think, I was talking to somebody earlier about this, but like the whole fact that you have 8 classes in the matter of a year, but like all going at the same time, all like competing against one another, wouldn't it make, this is like kind of maybe off, but like, wouldn't it make more sense to just spend like a month learning a unit, take the AP exam, and then go to the next one? Right. But I feel like that's kind of crazy, because it's not like time efficient.
And that's a whole other thing for the school system.
But that's more practical, because like now you don't have to, you're not competing against one another, you're just devoted to learning.
And it's also, it perpetuates, like, I love Mr. Yu, but that perpetuates such a toxic system. Because like,
but
students,
that's the school system. Like,
exactly.
That's not even just Matthew Walker, everywhere.
Exactly. And like, you know, seeing all of that, like, I had like a really awful experience with one of my teachers senior year, and like, that was like,
wait, can you talk about it? Or
yeah, I can. Okay. But like, it's not like super related.
Okay, yeah.
But basically, like,
because Loki, I don't even know what happened.
Oh, okay. So this was my international relations class, and you know, that's something I want to study in college. So I was really excited to take the class, and you know, I didn't like I found the class to not be like as engaging. Yeah. And I didn't really enjoy it, but it was easy. Like, I felt like I was getting, like, she was just throwing hundreds at us or whatever. But I guess her method of keeping us engaged was like, she would really like berate you if you weren't taking notes, or if she saw you were being distracted. And like, she had like crash outs all the time, and she always suspected you of cheating and things like that. Like, so I'm not used to like writing the pledge on like homework assignments, but like obviously like on tests and quizzes, like we have to sign and stuff. And I'd get like 5 points off if I didn't write the pledge in my, like, if I didn't type it on my homework. And like, again, like, I wasn't in the habit of that or whatever. But like,
get the pledge.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense.
That's the thing, is that you, again, like, these adults, and like, I've talked about this to like the adults that I've had the power to talk to, you have this pledge, you have this honor code, and we have an honor council that doesn't do anything.
Really? I feel like Maggie Walker Honor Council is pretty active.
Like, in comparison, like, active as in they give, like, fundraisers and, like...
Or, I mean, like...
You'll see their presence.
Honor code, like, coming in freshman year, at least, like, honor code was such a big thing. Oh, yeah.
That's it. And, that's with the freshman class this year, that didn't mean anything to
them. Okay. But, I mean, that's not something other schools have, right? Like an honor council?
I'm not sure.
Because the whole fact that, like, students judge other students, or, like, you have that student input on honor is, I feel like, better than other schools.
I would agree, but the issue is they don't have that ability.
Okay.
So I also feel like that is a very, like, maybe only I, like, knew about that. It's very much like, you know, like, they gather and, like, they have, like, the honor assembly and stuff, and they're able to promote it. But I remember maybe last year they had the honor assembly and everyone's just laughing because it was like a joke. Yeah. And, like, so, like, I think that shows that no one takes it seriously. And there were, like, a few incidents with the Honor Council where, like, the way they were getting involved was very, like, negative. I think there was, like, a lawsuit or something involved. Oh. So their power decreased enormously.
Oh, I remember this. Yeah. It was, like, a girl got into Harvard or something.
Yeah, and she cheated. And people told Harvard, and she got her thing rescinded. And
it got rescinded.
Yeah, they took her offer away, and she ended up going to, like, still a fabulous school. I think she went to Duke.
Okay.
But, like, that happens.
Oh,
and so, like, they are, I think, active, especially freshman year, and, like, you'll see, like, they'll post quotes and stuff. But again, like, who's really reading that? I feel like, and, like, I can say that to me, too. Like, I skip over their posts. I don't really, like, respect it as much because, again, like, I can't even, like, say, like, I know SCA is behind the scenes because I'm a part of it, but I don't know what they're doing behind the scenes. Does that make sense? Yeah. And, like, especially with that, when they lost kind of that ability to have those, like, hearings and, like, things. So, yeah, like, having it, I think, knowing that you have that support is great. But then also, like, they don't really do anything.
Yeah. Okay, wait, so what happened with...
So, with Dr. Erickson, I like, was having just... So, another reason why senior year was so off is that I had, like, some health stuff that, like, really ramped up. And, like, no one knows why. I've been going to the doctors for the past 4 years, and we just can't figure it out. I just, like, have been having, like, stomach problems. And, like... I'll, like, get sick for no reason, and I'll, like, come and go, and so, like, that's something...
if it's not, like, diagnosable, is it just mental? Because my thing was, I had this in first grade, but it was, like, I would have, like, stomach aches, but it wouldn't be, like, stomach aches. It would just be, like, I watch a scary movie, and then I, like, get scared. So then I would just have butterflies in my stomach, and then I would tell my parents, and I'd be like, oh, my stomach hurts. So they spent, like, thousands of dollars of bills, and, like, I went to Kid Med, and they just didn't know it was wrong, but it was just because, like, I was, like, tricking myself into thinking, you know?
Well, for me, the issue is it would happen a lot when I didn't have anything to be stressed about.
Oh, okay.
So, like, again, and it also, like, it dealt with, like, various areas of, like, my body and stuff.
Oh, okay.
And, like, I've done blood tests, and they say something's off, but not that off. Oh. And it's, like, I won't even have, like, pain. I'll be, like, fully, like, throwing up.
Oh, shoot. Oh, my God, I'm sorry.
And so, I mean, like, it's, you know, it hasn't happened in a hot second. But, like, I was just having all sorts of issues, and we had a test that day in her class. Yeah. Again, like, I wasn't stressing about her class. I had 99 at that point. Yeah. And, like, that's not even a flex. That was just if you hand in your homework.
Yeah.
You know, like, barely have to study for anything. Right. I think I had, like, the only reason I was a point off is because I didn't write the pledge on something. But, you know, like, the class was so, like, it was fine. Yeah. And so, she's also the teacher that's very much, like, you can't go to the bathroom now. Yeah. And, like, again, like, that's something that, like, I hated. And, like, I hate, like, for me, like, I mean, it's not like I would use the restroom, but it's, like, when seeing, like, kids get shut down for, like, using the restroom because you think that your notes are more important than that is, like, absurd. Yeah. And, like, I don't know. So, and she, like, crashed out. She, like, had lots of crash outs. She, like, crashed out on me because I asked if I could, like, go see the nurse. And, like, and she's the only teacher that I've ever felt like I had to explain my whole medical history to, especially because we had a test. So I was, like, telling her everything. And I think she got confused, and she was so set on just misconstruing everything I was saying.
Mm-hmm.
So she accused me of trying to leave school. I didn't even drive to school that day. And then the other thing is that this year we've implemented a flow chart on like who you need to talk to and stuff. And I like that. I think that it makes it really clear to like how you should approach problems. Because like I feel like people don't know that there's a department chair. Mm-hmm. Who is that department chair? And they don't know that like going to admin or like Miss Harger, like things like that are an option. Mm-hmm. And so this happened, and she was just, being absurd. Mm-hmm. And I sat down. I didn't even leave the classroom. I just sat down and I took the test. Mm-hmm. And I was like in pain or whatever, but it was fine. Mm-hmm. And like I think I got a B+ on it. So like who cares? Yeah. And then she goes, and so the flow chart is that the student and the teacher have to have a talk, mm-hmm. then the teacher and the department chair need to have a talk, mm-hmm. and then the teacher and admin, mm-hmm. or, student, and like mm-hmm. student, the same thing applies. She went straight to Dr. Williams after that day, told her everything. Dr. Erickson sent my parents an email. My parents brought it to me. This is the first time they've ever, like, got notification about anything with school, because, like, I work so hard to build that reputation for myself. Right. And like I always tell my parents, like, like maybe you think I'm an awful kid here, but like, like I made something of myself. Yeah. At school, and like that Absolutely. That was, I think, like I always felt like school was my place. Mm-hmm. And like this is when everything started crashing and burning senior year. Because I was just in leadership, and I felt like I knew so many people, and I was like trying so hard to make it a better environment for mm-hmm. everyone. And, like, I didn't, like, I wasn't a kid that, like, didn't try in school. Like, I did try. Yeah.
Wait, is this, like, January?
This is, like, November. So,
early.
Like, prime college application season, too.
Yeah, what the heck?
And so I was, like, stressing about all of this. Like, I had meetings mm-hmm. with Dr. Erickson and Dr. Smith and Dr. Williams. Mm-hmm. And that was an interrogation. Oh. They were pelting questions at me. And I didn't want to look at Dr. Erickson, but Dr. Williams was like, you better make eye contact with Dr. Erickson while you speak. And I was just very much like, that's when I realized that, like, I could do everything in the world mm-hmm. and still have adults tear things down for me. And I, like, built up, like, I was trying to make this school a safer place for students. Yeah. And honestly, that was, like, a learning experience in a way where I got to see mm-hmm. what students were dealing with. Yeah. And that admin wasn't supportive.
And they heard Dr. Erickson's side and still, like, chose to, like, did they think you were in the wrong, or that
they thought I was in the wrong?
Oh my god.
And Dr. Erickson, in front of these two adults, uh-huh. insinuated that I was doing some illicit activities and going to the OBGYN without my parents knowing.
How can you make
and
that
they didn't
accusation?
say anything, and I was just like, because I was having like certain issues, and I like, again, like, whatever it takes, trying to figure this out before I go to college.
Oh my god.
And so that is when I realized like how unsupportive this school that's like claiming to be incredibly inclusive can be. And, that was, like, the silent side. Like, I haven't, like, my friends know about it. Yeah. But, like, that's not really something I've been open about.
Right.
And it's, like, that's one of the reasons why, like, when we're working on the SCA Constitution, it was, like, okay, make sure that, like, certain people are reachable, making sure that, like, if there's rumors like that, like, mm-hmm. harmful stuff going on, like, there's people we can talk to. Okay. And things like that. And, like, there was, like, other initiatives that, like, I guess I'm still, like, gonna talk to Jake and Ashna about mm-hmm. to, like, make things better. Yeah. But it was just, like, a whirlwind of things. I had to write, a 3-page paper about it.
And this is, like, after you still took the test. You didn't even leave.
I didn't even leave. I took the test. Like,
oh, my God.
I had to write an apology letter to Dr. Erickson. And, like, that, like, all, like, I could have been working on college essays at that time, Yeah. So it was just very, like, crazy. Like,
is your story the same as Dr. Erickson's, or did she, like,
no, I think she added stuff. I like don't even know what she was talking about. It was just like a very, like, I don't feel safe in the school anymore moment. Yeah. And it was difficult because it was like, this is what I'm praising. Like, and so, like, at that point, it was also like, I was Model UN president, Bomber mm-hmm. captain, mm-hmm. SCA president, like, does that not count for anything?
Yeah.
Like, again, I have good grades
Yeah.
in this class, in general, they're fine, not getting to Harvard, but, like, you know, like, I was a good student, and, like, I was doing that community service or whatever, and, like, the fact that, like, Dr. Smith, like, that was also disappointing because I had that relationship I built with him since freshman year, just kind of, like, didn't matter. And so, like, then I was very much, like, how can I use, like, whatever I have to make this a better space? And Miss Harker became, like, my best friend with that because the school also, I think, undervalued her because when they think of, and again, like, I think our school claims to be this very liberal institution, but when you preach DEI, the extent of that was just bulletin boards for, like, different months. And it wasn't really more than that. But, like, you know, I feel like she's such, like, she advocates for students and, like, she has, like, such just, like, strong support. And you, like, makes other people feel seen and things like that. And so, like, that's why, you know, we really had her input in the SCA Constitution as well, and just, like, why I made sure that we worked with her to, like, promote all sorts of events. But yeah, that was definitely, like,
oh my god, bro, that's insane. I don't understand how, like, how can you insinuate something, like, especially the OBGYN stuff and, like, saying that you're going behind your parents' backs, like, that's like crossing a line as a teacher. Like, that's not
was the other thing, is that, like, she had been working at the school for a very long time and she was retiring, but, like, that just doesn't, like, I get it, like, but that, no, I don't, like, I don't get it, like, that just doesn't give you, like, the ability to, like, do whatever you want. And especially the fact that I, like, and, like, not even, like, I could have done nothing, like, none of them could have known my name, and, like, I also, like, didn't have to have good grades for anyone to say that, you know, about a student. I was under 18, like, just, and for the fact that I had the two, like, at that point, because I think maybe Dr. Smith was acting director because I think Dr. Larry went on leave.
Oh, okay.
Medical leave. So the two, like, highest acting figures, and none of them said anything. They called me in later and gave me an apology, but, like, and I said it was fine, but, like,
what was in the apology?
They were just, like, so I had a scholarship interview, and Dr. Smith was in there, and he was like, the way we handled the situation was wrong. Seeing you in the interview, I realized, like, you were such an asset to the community or whatever. But it was
not
just
worth anything after,
exactly.
Like, you demolished
it
that
was just really heartbreaking because it was like, I gave everything to this school.
Right.
I, like, was breaking way back to like, at that point, I was putting, like, SCA above academics.
I feel like if you're in all of these, like, leadership roles, that should count for something. And, like, if teachers get that rep benefit, like, oh, I've been here for 20 years, my word counts for something, students should have the same thing. Right. Especially in environment like school.
Completely agree. Especially because, like, it was so, he said, she said.
Yeah.
And, like, you can check the security cameras. Like, I didn't walk out of the classroom, let alone walk out of the school.
Yeah.
And, like, you can't pretend that you were worried for me.
Right.
When you didn't let me go to the nurse.
Yeah.
And, like, you're clearly, like, saying all these things. And, like, I'm not going to be, like, that's also something, like, I wasn't open about, but I'm also not going to be silent about. Like, I did talk to different adults about it. My parents, and, like, again, like, because school is the only thing I really had going for me, you know, like, my parents' eyes, that, like, I would have, like, this strong reputation or whatever, like, for them to hear all of this, like, it totally destroyed my relationship with my parents. And so...
Wait, so they didn't, like, vouch for you?
They didn't at first.
Oh, my God.
And then, like, it took some time. And then they did come around, but, like, still, like, I feel like, you know, like, that happening, it's just, like, it's a lot. And it was, like, I'm lucky that I didn't have to go through it totally alone, but it was definitely just, like, you realize, like, what you, at that point, like, what you have to do, you know? And so, like, it was, like, hard to keep going, as in, like, keep putting in the same amount of effort when it's, like, what is this all for? But then at the same time, it's, like, you know, these are the people that are shooting down all of our ideas to, like, to do better and make this place better. Yeah. And, like, it, like, worries me a little bit because I'm, like, I don't want students to be like, then what's the point for the SCA if they don't do anything, you know? Because, like, in my mind, I'm seeing, like, the class presidents and class officers, like, they get to, like, do everything. Like, everything they do is, like, super visible. But, like, they're doing, like, 5% of what I'm doing, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like...
I mean, my approach for running for class pres was like, advertise that I would make it the most fun, because I feel like that's what people like. But I feel like, I mean, hearing all like the behind the scenes stuff of the SCA, I feel like what you should advocate for or advertise is that you're willing to do all the nitty gritty. And I mean, is that what your approach was?
Like, honestly, our approach, like, I don't even, like...
Was it just like a popularity contest?
I don't even think it was a popularity contest, because I don't, like, I would say, like, one of the person, like, people
Low-key,
was popular, like, more popular than me and the guy I was running with combined. I would think so.
I feel like if you're considering, like, whole school, like...
I don't know. It was just, like, he had 2 grades advantage, if that makes sense. And, like, seniors are very removed from the freshmen.
Okay. I mean, I see that,
So, like, it was a little difficult. But, like, I think it was more of, like, we were just, like,
Wait, no, what I heard a lot of was your brother was a freshman.
Yeah.
So a lot of them were like, oh, like, this is Nikhil's sister.
Yeah,
like,
so I had to play for that really hard.
Oh, you did? You, like...
Well, I would talk to all of them. Okay. And, like, even before, like, I knew I was running, like, I just, like, always, like to, like, you know,
talk to me.
embarrass my brother a little bit. And, you know, like, I think it is, like, cool, like, having friends. Or not, like, friends, but, like, just knowing people in each grade.
Yeah.
And, like, also, I was doing, like, the bonsai thing. So, like, I did get to know some people that way. And just, like, let them know that I'm there for them. Or whatever. Because high school is scary. And so that was definitely something. But...
I mean, like, what's the strat?
For me, it was just, like, you know, just talking. I feel like it was something I secretly, like, worked all 4 years for. Was making friends, having a good reputation. Maybe I was an awful person, but, like, I didn't know if I was. But, like, it was just, like...
Wait, why did you just say that?
Like, I don't know, like, who thought that.
Oh, okay.
But, like, I just, like, tried to put my best step forward.
Okay, I got you.
I definitely made some people mad in the process, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But it was very much, like... And then, like, finding someone to run with, it was, like, okay, these are the people I think I have. Who... Like, it was very strategic. Not, like, who I would work... Like, I would work fine with, I thought, but, like, who has everybody else?
Yeah. I think that's, like, the biggest thing. Yeah. Like, finding somebody to run with. Yeah. Because if you don't get the right person, then it's like, oh, people don't like that person. Right. Oh, now they don't like me. Or it's like, oh, like, now we're both in the same, like, clique. Yeah. So now who's going to cover, like, everybody goes,
Exactly. And so I think... that it was also, like, we were seniors and we were running against juniors, and I think a lot of people understood that, like, as rising seniors, like, we were a little bit more capable. But we were running against louder voices, I would say. But I think that, you know, we had, like, very much, like, kind of, like, content that we would put out there that was very, like, I tried to, like, theme it so, like, people could recognize it, but it was also, like, relatable to... We tried to make it relatable to all, more interactive and things like that. While I think that, you know, the people we were against were a little more, like, closed-minded with, like, who they were.
I think that, like, one of the biggest things that I noticed of your different approaches was that your opponents were, like, playing into, like, trends, like TikToks, like Insta, like fun stuff. Yeah. And you guys were kind of like, oh, like, we're gonna get this done. Like, these are the things. This is our itinerary. Yeah. And honestly, going into, like, when I was running for president, I kind of took their approach, like, playing into trends, like, oh, like this is gonna be so much fun, but also, like, this is, like one of the things that I like. It was a lot of, like, creativity, like, showing your creativity and being like, oh, like, we're going to make senior year so fun. Like, look how many people we're DMing to be our class speaker at graduation. Like, we have so many cool ideas for senior sunset. Like, we're going to have a bonfire at the river. Like, I was trying to, like, play into that, but I don't think that's the right way to go.
But at the same time, with the responsibilities as class president, like, you did nail it. Like, that is what you do, because... Senior year, it's all about fun. I think SC is a little more serious than that. But at the same time, I think you need to, like, present yourself as not, like... because, like, I feel like because I know you, I know that you're, like, such a hard worker, and you put your head down, you get things done. But then, like, surface level, you're just super personable, bubbly, and fun. And so, like, I think that when we were, like, campaigning, I became the serious one, and Covey was more of, like, the fun person.
So you had the balance.
Yeah, and so I think maybe, like, and I feel like both of you, like, you and Henry, like, were, like, more just, like, the fun people. But again, like, knowing him, too, I know he takes things seriously as well. Yeah. So I think, like, that's also something, because people, like, are, like, because sometimes, you know, Maggie Walker students are a little smart, and they're like, oh, I want someone who will actually do it. Yeah. But also, I was going against less competition than you were, and it was also, there was a bunch of, like, the people who were going against blackmailing my co-candidate, or, like, spreading, like, really random things, and so we were able to, like, you know, talk about that, and I feel like that made them, like, other people not like these two. Yeah. And
I can just see Covey, like,
reacting. And I just remember, like, Covey was, like, that he was, like, I was, like, wait, Covey, do you know about any of this? Because someone texted it to me, and he was, like, I don't know who, because the thing is with Covey is, like, he'll be nice to whoever he sees. He does not know anyone's name. And so he was like, oh, he called this girl this, he called this person that. He was like, I've never talked to these people. Or, like,
wait, was that the extent of the blackmail? Just, like,
it was just a lot of rumors. And, like, in the junior class, or what I'm assuming, in, like, some of the junior class, it spread really far.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
So that was, like, a worry.
Wait, not gonna lie, I didn't hear it.
Okay.
But I think it was just, like, some people knew it, and then that kind of, like, made it seem like everybody knew it. You know what I'm saying?
Which was, like, again, like, it was scary, because it was, like, what the heck is happening? Yeah. Because, like, I've never had someone come for me like that before. Yeah. But it definitely, like, I feel like our approach, though, was very much trying to just get everybody. Yeah. Like, just, we didn't, like, also, my thing is I never had TikTok. Yeah. So I, like, mainly just focus on Instagram and, like, posting stuff throughout the school, like, posters and stuff. But then it was also just, like, you know, talking, canvassing, whatever. And I think we were a little more, like, constant, or consistent, I think that's a better word, than the people we were running against. Yeah. But then also, I think the reputations that we had were not as problematic. Yeah. I think both were, like, positive, but then we had, like, a more stable kind of personality that I think people were looking for.
Look, you and Covey are, like Martina and Kanan, but just Martina and Kanan have, like, a more, like, outgoing rep, and you and Covey have a more, like, grindy rep. Like, do you know what I'm saying?
I do kind of get that. It was also just, like, I don't know, it was just, like, a crazy time where I think you can't even, like, because it goes so fast. Yeah. Like, the season to campaign is, like, less than a week long.
It felt like a week. Literally, I mean, was it a week?
No, it was a week. Like, really? You get a week, but it feels like, or I think you get even a little bit more.
I think you get 2 weeks or 3 weeks.
But it goes by so fast, and like you don't even have time to, like, really look at the opponents, especially because you're running against so many people. Yeah. To counter all of that is, like, that's hard.
Yeah. It felt like my year, people just kind of voted for their friends.
That's also the other issue.
Because we all had such similar ideas that it was just like.
And your grade, in comparison to ours, was more organized into groups. Yeah. Where,
we're definitely more cliquey.
Like, I wouldn't even say cliquey, because I think my grade's cliquey, but I think that you guys have, like, better cliques than ours, where ours are just very messy. Oh. Where yours, like, you had people from each group running, which is what made it tough. Yeah. Because it wasn't really mixed. Yeah.
And wait, so people in your grade, do that too, do they not?
But again, like, no one ran for SCA for my grade. Oh. Or, like, not
or,
like,
I mean, like, isn't that, like, a...
Like, Martina and Kanan, they ran against, like, Luna and Akshaya. Oh. And, like, Luna and Akshaya at that point in time were, like, more, like, they didn't have, like, pull of the whole grade, but they had more, like, not more than Martina and Kanan, but, like, they had, like, I think I would say 2 or 3 groups, maybe. But
they're, like, relatively the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So, yeah. But at the same time, like, you know, elections are always going to be super messy, and, like, you really cannot tell the outcome.
Yeah. Are you going to keep running for stuff, like, at UVA?
I would love to.
Wait, are you joining a sorority?
I have no idea. I kind of want to, but
Okay.
I have to see it. That it's nice that it's like you rush spring.
Yeah.
So I can like figure it out in the fall.
Yeah.
But
wait, so is there nothing for sororities in the fall? Oh.
Because you get to like figure it out. Like maybe there's like they have like events to see which one you like and stuff. I don't know. I'm guessing.
I feel like Russian culture is just scary.
It is.
It's like cliquey to the max.
And it's still like it's not as bad as like Bama, obviously, but it's still like thing. So I'm really not sure. And like I know so many people that don't rush and they still have like the best time ever. Mm-hmm. Again, like I've never like I also know a lot of people that are like it's very much pay to play.
Really?
Like you have to like the membership is one thing. You have to have like cute clothes. It's just like all sorts of things. And so and I'm doing ROTC in college. So that's like
I've been meaning to ask you about that. I have no like how did you get into ROTC?
I've always wanted to serve, and I was looking West Point was I think my top school for the longest time. But then the last 2 years I kind of got demotivated from it because I didn't get accepted into the summer program. And I like had the stats and everything for it.
Wait, but the summer program or ROTC
the summer program ROTC is when you do kind of the military classes when you go to like a regular university.
Okay.
West Point is full military college.
Okay.
Military university or whatever. The academies.
Okay.
And so I like was in love with the idea, like I was fully prepared. But then I started to like slowly just like I didn't get accepted into the summer program. I was like, do they even want me? I like so I like got my nomination, which is super hard, and like I did everything for it, and it just like it wasn't for me. And so ROTC, I really liked it because I could be kind of a normal student. Yeah. But then it was also like I still get to like have those leadership qualities, you know, they'll pay for college. Yeah. And like there's just like all of these benefits that come with it that like, you know, like me being who I am, like I want that. And I do want to, and you don't, also like ROTC, you can go into the reserve, so you don't have to actively serve. Yeah. But that's the path I want to take. So I definitely want to, like if there's like that's nice because it's like, you know, working on leadership qualities while doing the ROTC program, but then also like I'd like to see how I could like become a leader on grounds.
But otherwise. What does ROTC like do? Like
so,
what does being in it mean?
Okay, so I'm moving into college early to work with ROTC people. And this
is UVA ROTC?
UVA ROTC. Okay. Yeah, and I'm doing Army ROTC because they have ROTC for different branches. Okay. And
so in the field? Or like in the actual like fighting?
Well, no, like Army, Navy, Air Force and stuff like that.
This covers everything. Okay.
Yeah, and so I, like some days I'll have to wake up at 5 in the morning, do whatever physical activity they have, and then I also will take 2 classes. Okay. So far. It changes throughout the years, but it's the first year I'm taking 2 classes my fall semester, and those are like a lab, so I'm learning about like the insignia, like the symbols that people wear, like how to be an officer in the military. And then I go through this program. There's like summer things I can do. I want to learn how to fly. You get like badges. There's camps, training, so all of this stuff. And then when I graduate with like my degree, obviously, but then also as a second lieutenant in the military. Okay. So I'm like,
is that a high?
Yeah, it's like I'm starting in the middle because I've done that 4 years of preparation. Okay. And then, like, from there, I'd be in charge of, like, a bunch of people, figure out what branch I'm going to go into and things like that. So, that's the program. I feel like it's may not be as prestigious as, you know, a military academy, but I feel like I'm going to, like, like, I love the school I'm going to. The academics are great, and, like, the program is also amazing. It's led by this woman, and she's just fabulous. She has like the highest rank you can also have for this position, and so I'm really excited because like everyone's that I've like met that's in the program seems to love it.
So I mean, like, are you pretty set on going into military, or are you trying to keep your options open?
I'm pretty set on it, but I also like I can just be in the reserves and then serve when they ask me to, like Mr. Goss. But I want to kind of, like, do my time. I don't want to, like, I don't think I'll make a career out of it, but I want to, like, serve my time, make those connections, and then go into something else.
So with the ROTC, can you, like, you know that thing where it's, like, they pay for your college, and then, I mean, like, it's, like, in debt, what do you call it? In debt. I forgot the word.
Like, I have to pay them back?
Yeah. It's like you, like, give them 7 years of your life for 4 years of college.
Yeah.
Is that ROTC? Or is that your path?
Kind of. So I would, it's not necessarily 7. It's more of like I'd serve for active duty for 5 years and then I'd be on reserve for 3.
Okay.
So 8, I guess. But that's not what I meant. It's not like you're like selling away. It is like you're selling away your life. But it's like not with reserves. Reserves, it's like when they call you, like you'll do like maybe 2 days a month. You'll like make sure you're fit. Like you'll go or whatever. And then if they call you, if there's like an emergency, National Guard needs you or whatever. Like, you'll get deployed or something.
But does being in the reserve limit your options for what type of job you can work?
Yes, because... Wait, what do you mean? Because, like outside of the military or inside the military?
Or, I mean, like, if you're in the reserve, you're not getting paid for anything. So I feel like you would need a job.
I'm not entirely sure about that. I haven't checked.
I think Mr. Goss does get paid.
I think you might get paid. I'm not sure just because that's not the path that I plan on taking. But... I feel like most jobs are pretty understanding.
Wait, let me search it up really quick. Like, if you get paid in the reserve or not?
Yeah, also I do have to head out.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Can you get paid reserves?
This is so fun.
Wait, Loki, I love podcasting because it's like I wouldn't normally go this deep into conversation with anybody. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
Like, especially, like, just, like, talking to my friend. I mean, I think I would. But this gives me a reason. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, yeah, you do. Pay is typically based on rank, time, and service. And Mr. Goss is, like, high ranking, too. He, like, leads his thing.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I never had him, but, like, I was talking to him about my scholarship a few times.
Wait, so you're, like, completely paid for?
No.
Okay.
Tuition's paid for.
Okay.
Room and board I pay for, but like
that is so chill. Bro.
Yeah, my parents like were really good about saving.
Yeah.
So, cause that's like it's covered. Technically like I'm not gonna be in debt or anything, which is really nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would have to transfer to go active duty because I am in the reserve corps right now, or not yet. Yeah. But I would be in the reserve corps, so I'd have to transfer to go active duty. And things like that, but yeah, I think that it sounds kind of like easy, I think for me, like when I think about it, but then I just like I know that it's gonna be tough, like because you do have to devote some of your summers to it. You have like you don't get to sleep in. Yeah.
But honestly, I think that's so good for you. Like that's why I want to play. Like, even if I get recruited for softball or not, like, I want to play walk-on or, like, walk on to a team. Maybe not even softball, like, basketball, track, like, I don't even care. Yeah. But I just want to stay active because, like, playing 3 sports in high school, it's, like, now I'm going to switch my entire life around if I don't play. You know what I'm saying? Like, sports has always been a thing, so it's good for you. Like, honestly,
and you also, like, for you, like, you want to have that constant.
Oh, yeah.
And, like, I feel like that's what's going to keep you sane because it's a crazy transition. Oh, yeah. Like, I know I'm only going to be an hour away, and, like, I'm happy I'm away, but, like, it's going to be something else. Yeah. I, like, want to do water polo in college. So we'll see how that goes.
Wait, water polo, there's also another one, sailing.
Rowing.
Sailing and rowing is, like, rowing, you need to be, like, crazy, like, strong, though.
Yeah, like,
but sailing,
arm strength.
Yeah, but you can sail. I can see sailing. Like,
I'll see.
But my thing is, I just can't be in the Virginia. Like, I just need to.
That's so real. That was my mindset. But then, like, UVA, like, it was my mindset more recently. But then UVA has, like, since kindergarten's always been, like, school of my dreams kind of thing. And, like, making that decision, like, let me know if you need help and stuff.
Oh, yeah,
because
absolutely.
I was picking between UVA and then, like, arguably a more prestigious school.
Yeah.
It's fine. I think, like, in a few more minutes. And arguably a more prestigious school in New York. And, like, but, like, that was so much smaller, like, more liberal, artsy, which is, like, what I wanted to do. No. Okay. It's called Hamilton. Okay. And it was just, like, smaller, a little more hidden away. It'd be far from New York City itself. Yeah. But, like, you know, like, I had my scholarship for UVA already. Yeah. And, like, I mean, I could transfer my scholarship, but, like, the school is, because it's private, it's, like, more expensive and stuff. So, like, there was just, like, a lot of factors that play into it. Yeah. But honestly, like, that's, like, I totally respect just going out of state, because I think when you're someone, like you, that's a change that you can, like, fully accept. There are people that I know that are just, like, not ready for it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And you did that HSD thing in Japan, right? Did that ever change your mind?
About?
Like, either staying close or going far away?
That was fully, like, I'm studying abroad in college.
Oh, really?
I'm doing everything I can to, like, be a global citizen and experience, like, everything I can to the fullest.
And that's tied into UVA too, right? HSC?
That, not entirely, as in the program is completely separate, but it was held at UVA. Okay. So that made me love UVA a little more because I got to, like, see it and, like, just, like, how beautiful campus was and, like, the culture, because some students were still there.
Yeah. Wait, are you still in, like, touch with any Japanese people?
Oh, yes, totally.
Really?
My two roommates, like, we talk from time to time, but I, like,
that's crazy.
We all follow each other on Instagram, so we're all, like, swiping up on people's stories, and, like, we'll talk and call a little. The American students, obviously, like, they're, like, my best friends ever now.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's super crazy. But, yeah.
Okay. All right, sweet. We can finish up if you gotta go.
Yeah.
All right, sweet. Thanks, Tanvi.
Say you got love for me, say you don't mind, and we don't really fuck a lot.